My name's Dave, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about Visual Studio. So what is Visual Studio? Visual Studio is an IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. And basically it just helps you write code. It makes things simpler. It just simplifies things for you. It does a lot of things for you behind the scenes. It writes boilerplate code. So it sets everything up for you. It does a lot of mundane tasks. So if you had to do all this, just from scratch, it would take a lot longer. You'd have to do a lot more typing. So Visual Studio just simplifies that for you. That's what any good IDE does. Visual Studio is one of the best IDEs out there. It's from Microsoft. And with Visual Studio, you can create several different kinds of apps or applications, several different types of applications like console apps, form apps, WPF apps, and in the newer versions we can create store apps and ASP.NET. So there's a lot of different types of applications that you can create with Visual Studio, and we'll see that as we progress. So to just very quickly create a form app, also called a desktop app, and we'll look at this again later, so I just want to quickly walk you through this, and I'm just going to use the default name, and not too concerned about exactly what I'm doing here. Just want to give you an overview of what Visual Studio is. Just give you the idea for now. But later we'll go back and take a look at these things in more detail. So as you see, Visual Studio has created, this is a desktop app, and just very quickly I have a desktop app or form app desktop app, same, and it's just a blank form. There's not much going on here. But as you can see, Visual Studio has set up a lot of things for me behind the scenes. If you look over here at this Solution Explorer panel, you'll see that Visual Studio has created some things for me. This is a file that it's created for me. It's another file that Visual Studio has created for me. So just want to give you the idea that Visual Studio is an IDE, and the IDE is a tool that helps you, the developer, the programmer. It helps you write code, and it just simplifies a lot of things, does a lot of things for you behind the scenes, does things like syntax highlighting. If you can see the application here, this is a teal color, this is a blue color. This text here is black, this is green, this is a comment. So there's different colors for different things, and as we go through these tutorials and the more you use Visual Studio, you'll see what color corresponds with what. So but that's called syntax highlighting, and that just helps you. It gives you visual cues. If you look right here, this is called IntelliSense. You see this little window pop up here, and it just helps you decide what do you want to use, or what do you want to do. It just simplifies things for you. So there's a lot of tools here that Visual Studio has that just makes life a lot easier for the software developer. So the main thing I want you to come away with in this tutorial is that Visual Studio is an IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and an IDE just does a lot of things for you to help you out. It does a lot of things behind the scenes. It gives you a lot of tools just to make life simpler for you, the computer programmer.